Before 9 a.m., AI made hundreds of decisions about your life. You didn't notice. You weren't supposed to. It's not a tool you adopt. It's the intelligence infrastructure you're already living inside. The question is not whether you decide to use it. It's whether you decide to understand it.
AI in your life.
AI in your life.
AI is not in my life. Go ahead.
AI is everywhere in your life. It's what your entire life is running off of, whether you realize it or not. Right now, AI is not a chat bot that you're talking to back and forth. I guess it's not a tool like everybody thinks it is. It's become the infrastructure layer that's running beneath everything we do. You're not deciding whether to use it. You're deciding whether to understand it.
I'm not deciding anything. I'm just, I'm focused on life. And so really, you need to explain to me more when you say, hey, it's all around me or it's in my life. What does that mean?
It's in every part of your life. Your money. 70% of all stock trades are executed by algorithms right now. Your retirement portfolio, the thing that you're counting on for your second half, rises and falls based off of AI decisions made in microseconds.
Okay.
You're not a participant in that. You're a data point.
So you're telling me my financial planner is not the guy making all the decisions, giving me all the advice based on his experiences.
Your financial advisor is giving you advice that he's getting from AI algorithms and strategies that the AI is making up. Your life, your credit score that determines what kind of mortgage you have to pay, your insurance profile that says what kind of insurance rate you're available for. All of that stuff is run by AI that you have no clue as to what the inputs are.
I don't really think about that, but it makes sense for the little bit that I know about AI now. Yeah, I would assume they're created some kind of a profile, right, about me, or you think that stuff is shared though? I mean, shared.
Of course it is. The credit scoring models are data use that you never consciously provided anything for. It was just information that was gathered about you or where you're at in your financial space, and it's shared with banks, insurance companies, government, everybody. So yeah, it's all in your money, buddy.
No bueno, man.
No bueno. Let's talk about your health. Okay. Do you know right now there's over 950 AI medical devices of FDA clearance right now? AI is in just about every single doctor's offices, and matches specialist physicians' diagnostic accuracy for cancers, cardiac events, blood work, patterns. Question isn't whether AI is involved in your healthcare. It's whether you know when it is.
So you're not just talking administratively in healthcare, because we've already spoken about the fact that all those knowledge level jobs, anybody sitting in front of a computer, anybody working with a keypad, all that stuff, when we talk about that, I can understand and apply that to the medical industry, for example, because how many damn paper pushers, I don't know if they call them paper pushers anymore, but how many paper pushers are there? And I figured, yeah, okay, I understand those guys being wiped out. And if you want to say AI is in my life related to health, my first assumption is, hey, yeah, of course it is, because they don't do the billing anymore. People don't send me a bill. That stuff's all automated, and they send the bill to the insurance company sends it. All that stuff, robots going back and forth. But you're not just saying that it's in the paperwork.
How old's your doctor?
It's not in the paper minutia. It's how old is
your doctor? Yeah.
He's like my age.
All right. So just say he's around 60, right? Which means he got out of med school about 40 years ago, 35 years ago. How much change has happened in medicine in the last 35 years? And how's your doctor keeping up with all of the things that are happening so fast going on now? Do you think he sits at home every night and reads all those papers and does all that stuff? Hell no.
He's supposed to be reading the journals, man.
No, man, he's getting his information from AI. even though he doesn't think he's getting it from journals that are based off of AI studies, AI paperwork, well, not paperwork, but papers, things that you're not thinking about, and it's assisting in your healthcare. He's checking through the system whether or not his diagnosis is correct. And he's doing all the things, utilizing AI as his backup, his ability to talk to you. He's basically a middleman at this point.
The picture you're giving me, I draw it like he comes in, talks to me, because he's always sitting at the laptop. So every time I say anything, think, 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 he's typing away, he's putting it in there. So now you're scaring me because now he's taking that information at the end of the night, he sits with 8 patients during the day, loads it into your file, right? And then what? AI starts
Well, he doesn't
massaging
do
all
that.
the information,
It's already
starts
done that.
massaging the information and coming up with freaking diagnoses and stuff like that, or
Sure.
subjects to talk about the next time he sees me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now you're starting to get it. Now you're starting to understand. How'd you get here today?
I drove.
You drove. Oh,
Yes,
that's
I
pretty
drove.
awesome. Yeah, no. So
I drove. I drove to the
we're both in
2HM
Miami today.
studio.
So I know
Yes.
that you drove. How many Waymos did you see
Oh,
on the way here?
okay. I saw one, but there was a lady driving it, or at least she was sitting in the driver's seat.
She
So
was sitting in the
I don't
driver's
know.
seat, hands
Yeah, that wasn't but like
off the
about a
wheel
mile
right
from
now.
here.
That's
That was
right.
crazy. What?
Yeah. So right now, Waymo has driven over 20 million autonomous miles on public roads. We are fast pushing in Miami here the same type of things that you're going to see that are already happening in LA, San Francisco, Austin. This year, Waymo will have driverless ride shares, Uber, if you will, come pick you up and take you wherever you want to go. No human there. They've already done that, right? So that's a big deal. But AI is already involved in that. It's not just that, well, some driver's car is going to come. DOT is rewriting infrastructure policies around autonomous systems. Your commute, your deliveries increasingly routed and operated by systems that don't need you. It's all done behind the scenes. So even that, even you, I know you like your truck, the big old truck. I like to be the big man. Anyway, I know you like that truck, but that truck in a very short period of time is going to be a luxury, not a way for you to get around town. It's going to cost you a hell of a lot more money than it is just get into a self-driving vehicle. That's included in what it is that we're talking about. Everything is going on, and you don't think it's affecting you.
Yeah, man. I don't even see how that's gonna work, honestly. Regular drivers with autonomous vehicles, that's a scary thought. And
Yeah,
that,
dude, just wait a couple years, and it's okay that you don't know now. That you'll just be one of those guys that you, the world's just going on without you. That's fine. I'm good with that. You know what? As a matter
okay,
of
but
fact, this
that's
leads
what
us to, you know what? Your
that,
entire relevance is exactly what it is that we're talking about. You're a businessman, but every business, every white collar profession, everything where there are a number of tasks in your job, your life as you know it is being totally redefined, right? Your job, it probably won't be replaced, but the tasks that you do, the parts of your work that can be systemized and automated, they're all being identified and repriced accordingly. If we just touched every bit of your life, where AI is firmly involved in all of it and seeing all of the stuff that's happening.
we've had a number of conversations now, and done a few shows, and we've talked about in the past, or at least I've talked about the underlying happenings, and we actually classified it as under the sheets, things that are happening. I guess once you start realizing it, you start to see how much of an impact or the influence, I guess you could say, right, that it's going to have every day of your life. Not just a year. Oh, a year from now, it's going to have a pretty big influence. It's actually happening today, and we're accepting of it, right?
It's the intelligence layer of just about everything that's going on in the world. There'd be no air traffic. There'd be no tolls on the road. There'd be no electrical grid that could determine what areas need more power and energy based on usage patterns and time of day and all those things that go on. Do you think somebody's just sitting around at the electric company with a little switch saying, "Oh, these people need more energy right now, so I'm gonna boost them up and I'm gonna take some from over here because they don't need as much"?
So
Education.
on that electricity thing, I was talking to my wife the other day because we had this cold snap recently. Even in Florida, it was a cold snap. It was throughout the Southeast United States, and we're talking about AI quite a bit. So I get an email from the power company, which just doesn't send me a paper bill anymore. They send me an electric. Just they don't even I don't even get a bill. It just tells me it
Yeah,
sends me an email.
and how many people in the
No,
background do you think are preparing
no,
that bill?
no. So the bill just tells me how much I'm going to pay. But this particular email from the power company actually said, and this is a little scary. It said, "Hey, due to energy requirements based on the weather, we're going to ask you to reduce your power usage on this particular day from this hour to that hour." And of course, I read that, started running around the house like my head was on fire. And I was like, look, they're doing it. They're trying to do it. They're preparing us to start shutting down even our own part of the power grid so that they can move energy and power in,
I
in-
I think it was nice of
where
them
they want it to
to
go.
send you that
So,
letter to let you think that you were in control of your
yeah.
power usage at the time that they want you
I
to
could tell
be.
you this: the feeling result of that was a little bit of helplessness, right? Because it's like, okay, what if all of a sudden I had something really scheduled? What if I was going to do a show during that period of time, and as opposed to them saying, "Please don't use as much power," them saying, "Hey, last time we asked people to cut back on power, they didn't do a damn thing. So this time, we're clicking it off during the period of time that we need it."
Yeah.
Right? I'd
Yeah.
been out of gas.
Yeah, you would.
You need to stop telling me about this shit. It's gonna start scaring me.
It's not meant to scare you. It's meant to make you aware that no matter what you think AI is, you're in it. It's not just a tool that you are thinking about using. It's not a chat bot that you're asking questions to and getting stuff back. That's not even the tip of the iceberg of what artificial intelligence is and how it's being used.
So on a daily basis, nobody's running around going, "Oh man, I hear about AI on the news. I hear about AI here." The realization of it and the impact it's having, for some reason, is like just going, over people's heads. I don't think they understand the impact of what we're considering to be the small things, right? Like it's taking over these small tasks. If you do what you've done, what you're doing today, and you actually take that, what represents a small task of my morning routine, right? Because that's where we started talking about was my
Right.
morning routine. And you back away from that and you show how broad and how big that decision that was made for me, all the infrastructure to do that, how big that is in the background. I think that's when people start coming to that realization is when you start going, ho, 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 you know,
Mm.
because
Yeah, and
there's a lot to that, right?
yeah, there's a huge amount of, and we never really got to a number, but I would guess there's hundreds and hundreds of decisions that AI made on your behalf or to you or with you that before 9 o'clock this morning that you had no clue as to what's going on. You had no input in, but it is affecting your life at every turn. It's huge, and it's surprising that we're not really more focused on this,
Okay.
more
So
understanding what's going on.
all right. So yeah. So you're waking me up. You're broadening the scope of my understanding. You're telling me, hey, you're like smacking me and going, hey, AI's in your life. If I want to help myself understand that, and I'm on this journey of sovereignty, right? Which is what we continue to talk about, create the brotherhood so that we're like-minded men, everybody together. We're all going down this path together. Problem is right now, all of us, the guys in the brotherhood are all like, AI is in my life, huh? So, so give me something, give me a sovereign solution for this. Give me an exercise or what, because you're making it evident to me. And if guys don't look at this show to come to have like the epiphany of AI, AI epiphany, then, how do we help that? How do we help them with that?
Before we get to that, the first thing that we really need to talk about is what is the real trap here? If I'm not really understanding or really trying to understand and know all of these things that we just talked about, what's going on, then the trap for you and me and guys like us is that, we're just kind of stuck in this narrow band thinking that we're looking at our lives from exactly how you said, my day, my business, my things that I'm focused on, the things that I am doing, and don't really realize all of this stuff behind me. So the narrative is these things don't affect me. But what we're really trying to make sure is that you get out of this narrow band of thinking and really understand that just because I say, oh, I use ChatGPT, so I'm ahead of most people, or I don't work in tech, so this doesn't really bother me, or my judgment in my relationships, they can't be replaced, or I'll figure it out when I need to. You know, all that is if that's where you're at, that narrow band thinking, that's where we as second half man have the real issue. We need to understand more of exactly where we're at in this point in time. And the intelligence layer doesn't care what industry you're in. Like I said, it's becoming the substrate beneath all industries, all areas of our life.
You said narrow band thinking. I guess that's a way to classify it. It's what you're asking isn't easy because I get up, I got my routine, freaking go to work, focus on what I'm supposed to be focused on, whether that be doing a good job, whether that be running the company, whether that prepping the company to be sold, to prepare for my retirement, all the things that I have, all the people that are in my circle that I have to be concerned about on a daily basis. I'm letting it in because I'm not focused on that. I'm what am I? Narrow, what am I? Narrow? Not narrow-minded. What is it? What is it?
You have narrow
My
brand.
narrow band thinking. Yes,
That's
narrow
right.
band thinking. But I mean, it ain't, and it's not my fault that I got narrow band thinking. I'm focused, man. I'm a focused individual. So I've got
Yeah. But I need you to I'd like to see you get focused on this. Look, what is coming is probably the greatest disruption mankind's ever kind of been through, and we've been through a lot of disruptions, but because this affects every single part of our life. It's not just a specific technology that's happening, not a specific geopolitical issue where we're having to deal with that. It's across the board, everything. And I'm gonna tell you something. Well, I'm not gonna tell you because you already know this, but I know this firsthand. I met this disruption a little earlier than most people. In fact, my business, my electrical construction business, my family's business, was going through a lot of changes, and I was pushing, these changes. I was pushing this technological change, but you know, and I thought I was adapting. We adapted new tools, updated processes, did some things that weren't typically done in the past in order to keep up with the technology that was there, all in an effort to get better. And I was still, even in that, my thinking was narrowband. I saw the immediate tools, I saw the structural shift, you know, but what I didn't see was um, the turmoil and cause of change and all the things that happened inside of my organization when I was taking on these new technologies and when I was trying to implement them and we were getting pushback from the people and how much turmoil that caused in the business itself. The same thing almost everybody's going to go through if you're in this narrow band thinking and you don't think it's going to happen in your business or what's going to happen in your job, it's going to happen. It's inevitable, to use your word. It's not going to not change. Unfortunately, my business didn't survive, but it brought me to this point to try and understand exactly what it is that was happening. And, this is it. My semi-awareness of the things that I thought could happen with technology and AI, but not being aware of the entirety of exactly what I was talking about was my own narrow band thinking. And, we're here talking about this today because I don't want anybody else to have to go through this without their eyes wide open and knowing what's happening. So that, I hope that wakes you up a little bit.
Yeah, I think the fact that it's all, if you're talking about it being all around us, it already had an impact, and we're talking a couple of years ago in your
Yep.
situation, right? And if it's having an impact, if it's impacting our day without us knowing it, the challenge is to try to keep yourself from being surprised, right? When it comes, I hate to say it this way, but when it comes for you and meeting second half men, right? Meaning the guys
Yeah.
like us, because you faced it early on.
Mhm.
I know. I the inevitability of it is ridiculous, but I know that in the industry that I'm involved in, it's coming for me. It's coming for me. And it's probably coming, for what I mean, how many of us have built businesses and industries that if we really think about it, AI, the capabilities of AI and the new technology will be able to basically replace what your livelihood is, right? Right? And it's gonna creep up on us, right?
Yeah. And just I know you're saying it's coming for you. AI is not coming for you. It's not coming for anybody. It's just coming. And it's not just coming, it's here. And if we don't understand that, then, the further behind we are, we will never be able to keep pace. And the effects will be not very good effects for those people that don't understand this, that don't command the systems that they have the ability to have, some kind of command over. And that starts with, really knowing and seeing all of that around you. It's not coming for you, but it is coming, and it will run you over. It will wreck you if you're not ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, most of us look at things because they affect us. Our concern isn't, unfortunately, our concern is not really all the time for our, for other people. So the impact will be felt when it really affects you yourself. And it's funny because it's affecting you today. None of us really realize that it's affecting us today. So, preparation, I guess,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You
You know,
gotta you gotta understand that the next time you sit down with mom and dad and you have to watch some French film with subtitles, AI picked it for you, buddy.
yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I keep screaming at them. Watch something different, please, on your channel
Yeah,
because that's the only options that I ever see when I
yeah.
sit down with them. So yeah, yeah. AI in
AI in
my
your
life.
life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So solutions?
Yeah, solutions.
Any sovereign solutions out there, man, that we can offer our guys?
So today, as I'm thinking about it, in my upcoming book, The Second Half Manifesto, How to Stay Dangerous When
Mhm.
AI Society Wants You Obsolete, we have the Sovereign's Code, 22 elements of sovereignty.
Mhm.
And today I want to talk about element number 5, stay insatiable, thirst beyond knowledge. So, what element number 5 says is that we need to stay insatiable in inquiring and finding out answers to everything it is that we can. We can never stop learning. You can always say, "Oh, I've been in my business for 40 years. You can't teach me anything else." And we all know that that's not true. You need to stay insatiable when it comes to that, not because you need some kind of credentials, because you need the capability. You need the capability of knowing what's going on. You need the capability to be able to see the intelligence layer that's all around us and that it rewards the continuous learning, people that know how to use it or be or uh, more importantly, know how to live and act with inside of it, that intelligence layer. It rewards those people that can do that, and it punishes the assumptions that you've learned enough. Men who thought they were, unstoppable, that's just not true. We all need to learn something new, be involved in something new, continue to do that, and have this thirst for continual improvement and learning and knowledge. You need to become, that person that is insatiable. You need to stay insatiable.
I'm
You're
trying.
trying.
I'm trying to keep up as much as I can. That I'm got what is it? Narrowband thinking.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah. So look, you're trying,
Hey,
but
something else.
insatiable doesn't mean you have to be frantic. You don't got to run around with your hair on fire and try to figure out every single day, or every single thing that's going on. But it does mean you're refusing to believe that you know everything, or that you're done learning, or that you can't really affect things that are in your life. If you're a 55-year-old contractor, you don't need to know how to code, but you do have to understand what AI systems are doing in your business, how that affects your billings, your collections, your pipeline of getting new work. All of that stuff is affected by today's infrastructure layer and the AI systems that are out there.
Okay. So, do we have a starting point?
Yeah, I think the easiest thing to do, sit down and map your AI exposure now that your narrow band thinking has been broadened a little bit, and try and track every place where AI is touching your life specifically. Not the obvious ones, but the invisible ones. The algorithm that, you know, filtered your inbox, the system that routed your drive, the model that priced your insurance, all of those things, and all the other things that go along with it that you haven't really been thinking about, that if you do think about, you can say, "Oh, how did I get from here to there? Huh, somebody told me how to do that." And it's connected to all these other phones because halfway through my route, it stopped and rerouted me because there was a traffic jam up ahead. All of those things so that you can start getting a feel for, you know what, this isn't a tool, this isn't a chat bot. AI is the intelligence infrastructure of everything that we live in. And once you do that, and once you start recognizing it, and once you start living inside of it, you're going to be much better off than you are if you're just going from here to there thinking it was magic that, something on my little phone told me how to get somewhere.
All right, so simplified, I guess, for guys like me too, mapping it. What take a if it's important enough to you, and you do come to the realization how much of an impact it has, I guess, and that could be it's gonna take a little bit of time, even if it's just you devote one day to it. You take a notepad and just start writing down up to that point all the things that AI might have had an impact on or did have an impact up to that point. And then I guess as you go along in your daily routine and you get boom put on hold, or would you like to speak to a chatbot, or place your order online, or go get lunch and do your little tappy tappy, or do all that. Just start, write that list up that day, I guess. And then in the evening or at the end of the day, look at that and assess it and see the true involvement, or see the AI in your life, right? What's all the things that are
Yep.
happening around you, to give you what? To give you
Yeah.
perspective,
Well,
right? A lot more
yes. And I
perspective.
guarantee if you do that, you do it diligently, and you get to the end of the day, your list is going to be a heck of a lot longer than you think it is. And your eyes are going to be open a little wider, and your narrow band thinking will be broadened just a little bit so you know exactly what's going on in your world. And in the meantime, keep joining us here at Second Half Man, and we'll keep on helping all of us get through it.
So, again, this is the Second Half Man Show. We hope you like what you saw today. Please don't forget, if you're new to the show, go ahead and subscribe. If you're seen us before, you like what we're talking about, please hit that like button. That gives us some good feedback. Don't be afraid to leave us comments, leave us some questions. help us build the show so that it's something worthwhile, it's something you might be interested in.
Sign up for the Second Half Man Dispatch, the weekly newsletter. You'll get all the inside information that you need to make this part of life go a little smoother.
I'm 601.
I'm Russ Borden.
Stay dangerous.